Hi you guys, it's Miss Pressler. Let's take a look at this Punnett Square practice problem. So let's take a look. In pea plants, the allele for puffed pods is dominant. That part is important, so we need to underline that. Puffed pods is dominant. I also like to write that down over here. Puffed pods equals dominant. Okay, if it is dominant, then we know that the genotype is going to have at least one capital allele. So P for puffed, we can do capital P, and then the only other option to have a puffed pod would be capital P, lowercase p. Okay, and then let's read the rest of the problem. And the allele for pinched pods is recessive. So we can write that down over here. Pinched is recessive. So the genotype for recessive is always the lowercase. So since we started off with a capital P, we're also going to have to represent our pinched pod, which is recessive, with lowercase. So our only option for pinched pod is lowercase p. And remember, we put the lines underneath to represent a lowercase letter. Okay, so two peas that are both heterozygous. Remember, heterozygous means different size letters for pod shape are crossed. What is the probability in percents an offspring from this cross will have pinched pod? Okay, so
we could use a couple more teachers in the cafeteria if you so desire.
Thank you, Mr. McNana. So we have two peas that are heterozygous. So let's go over to our key here. This is homozygous dominant. This is heterozygous, and this is homozygous recessive. So we have two. We're going to use this one.
Combine them and have one of you come down to the cafeteria. Nobody will get mad at you. Anybody that wishes to go down and boogaloo that's on that.
Okay, so then you can do your Punnett Square here.
Thank you.
Capital P, lowercase p. Capital P, lowercase p. Okay, so when we do our Punnett Square, so it's like multiplying. So P times P, right? We're going to put big P, big P, little p,
Any instructor who's on that prep period and wishes to
big
use
P,
one of their coverages,
little p,
just contact
and little p, little p.
Thank you.
Boom, boom. Okay, and that's our Punnett Square. So then the next thing you're going to do is a genotype phenotype. Phenotype chart. Okay, remember, genotype are the different combination of letters. So let's see what we have. We have two capital P's here. So that's homozygous dominant. How many do we have there? How many do we have there of homozygous dominant? We have 1 out of 4. We're doing percents though, so we could say 1 out of 4 is also the same as 25%. Okay, another genotype, capital P, lowercase p, which is heterozygous. How many do we have? I see 2 boxes, so 2 out of 4. Okay, or 1/2, which is 50%. And then we have little p, which is homozygous recessive. We have 1 box, so that's 1 out of 4, and that's also 25%. Then phenotype, remember phenotype sounds like face, how something looks. We have 2 options. We either have puffed pods or pinched. So we can write down puffed or pinched. So let's go back and take a look. Since puffed is going to be the dominant, any box that has a capital P will show for the dominant trait, which is puffed. So we have 1 box, 2 box, 3 boxes, so 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4, which is also 75%. And then the pinched is going to be our recessive, right? And we have 1 out of 4 boxes, which is 25%. 1 out of 4 for pinched, or 25%. And that's how you do a Punnett Square problem.